cringe. Oh,
Oh,
God.
yes.
Just so much.
Oh, good lord.
It is hot when you're trying to be evil.
Really, this evil stuff's a lot of work.
Oh.
My gosh. Ugh. That's enough of that.
That's a lot. It is a lot.
Is that the blood of a virgin?
It is. In my Hello Kitty cup.
Good stuff.
Fresh. Oh, hey.
Hi there.
So, as you may have guessed,
Satanic Panic!
we're going to talk about a couple movies, obviously.
Of course.
They're in vein of Satanism.
Yeah.
So, here we go.
Yes, let's
ready?
begin.
Oh,
Episode 13, I might add.
shit. That's right. Lucky number 13.
That's right.
The first movie I'm going to talk about is the obvious Satanic Panic. We decided to revisit this again last night.
Yes.
Just for the fun of it. Because why not?
Why not?
It was made in 2019. Fun thing about this, though, is that the director, her name is Chelsea Stardust. I don't feel like that's a real name. I feel like that might be fake.
I feel like it sounds very porny.
Yes, yeah. That's her porn name.
Butt Nuggets Part 5, starring Chelsea Stardust.
Gross. Well, okay, so from what I could see, this was like her directorial debut.
Okay.
She was actually an assistant to Jason Blum of Blumhouse Productions, and for a lot of movies. She decided to direct this movie. Apparently, she changed her name to Chelsea Stardust.
All right.
Because that makes sense.
Why not?
I don't know. I'm going to change my name to Krista Sprinkles.
Sprinkles.
So, anyway, this movie, it's not great.
No. I mean, and here's the thing, it has so much potential. Because, when I was stoned, I thought it was a pretty good movie.
Yeah.
But then watching it last night sober, I'm like, no, it's not a great movie. But the potential was there. And there are some genuinely funny moments.
Mm-hmm.
And there are some pretty good gore effects kind of sprinkled throughout. Making light of and making fun of Satanism, I think, is great. But,
yeah. But
still, I think it could have been done a lot better than what it was. The potential was there.
I agree. I feel like this is one of those things where, the story or in the title is just, gifted to you on a silver platter, and then you go and just F it up.
Well, I wouldn't go that. I don't know if I'd go that far. But
it wasn't great.
It's not great. It's not a great movie, but it's at least somewhat entertaining movie.
Yes. Well, I think most people, when they think of the term Satanic Panic, they think of Charles Manson, and they think of when that started coming in, where everybody was blaming everything on Satanism, going into even the 90s with what was that, the West Memphis 3?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
That was a big one. Or the stave churches that were being burned in Norway.
Right.
It was, just blaming Satanism.
For everything.
Yeah, because they don't know what Satanism is.
Right.
And, whatever.
Yeah.
But this movie, it, like you said, it had the potential of it. She was just delivering some pizzas. She was bummed because she ran out of gas, because people still deliver pizzas on Vespas.
Yeah, I don't know. I've never seen that.
No, I feel like it's an 80s movie kind of situation. Right. And so she just stumbles across a satanic ritual.
Right.
And it's just like, and I don't know, there was just some dumb things as trying to keep away the bad spirits from entering, writing runes or something all over that girl's body with a Mr. Sketch, scented.
I feel like that was just an excuse for them to get some skin in that movie.
Yeah, like her shirt being ripped.
Yeah.
Like boobies.
Yep, exactly.
Yeah. So, Yeah. And it was also produced by Fangoria.
Oh.
So I'm like, well, that's probably not a big budget. I didn't look at the budget for this one, but I'm going to go with probably not.
Yeah.
You know, most times when it's, sponsored by some sort of horror something.
Yeah, it's usually a low budget situation.
Yeah, exactly. The next one, I Drink Your Blood.
Oh yeah, Satanic Hippies. I mean, that right there kind of plays into the whole Charles Manson thing right there, obviously.
Yeah. They even refer to the main character as Charles Manson-esque, you know.
Yeah.
It's supposed to be that way.
Exactly.
But it's just poorly acted.
Yeah. He's the best thing about the movie because
he really
he's just
is.
so over the top, you know, in my opinion. And what's funny is, to me, they're not even actually the villains of that movie. It's the kid that serves them the meat pies that have rabies in it or whatever is the villain of that movie.
I know.
If he hadn't have done that, those satanic hippies probably would have just done their rituals, caused a little mischief, and left town.
That's right. That's right. Yeah, they were just there to be obnoxious.
Exactly.
Yeah. I don't remember the main character's name. It doesn't matter.
It really doesn't.
And his real name, I'm not even going to attempt to pronounce because I will butcher it.
Right.
But I did find it interesting that this was the only American movie that he ever made.
Really?
All of his movies, he's from India.
Right.
And so all the rest of his movies were Indian movies.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Like, but were it anything like, did you check it was like all like Bollywood type stuff? Or
no, I didn't. But I would imagine, well, I know he was a dancer in at least one of them because that was his jam. When he moved to the U.S. and whatever, and I'm assuming after I Drink Your Blood, he decided to go and open this dance studio and teach Indian dance.
Okay.
Which is kind of cool. So
it is cool.
He was, it does say dancer for like probably his first movie that he did.
Okay.
And then the rest of them, it doesn't really indicate. But I would imagine.
Yeah.
You know.
Interesting.
Yeah. Yeah, I thought that was kind of cool.
Yeah.
You know, I didn't really care to look up anybody else.
I understand.
It just wasn't that good.
Yeah, I mean, that movie, it's entertaining. It's kind of a cult movie and everything.
Yeah.
But you can't say it's a great movie, but you can certainly say it's entertaining. That's for sure.
It's definitely entertaining. Yeah. Also better when you're high.
Right, exactly. It's super absurd, just ridiculous movie, over the top, bad acting. You know, it's just one of those classic. What year did that come out?
1971.
Ah, yeah, that explains it.
Yeah,
because that was that weird time, like you're moving out of the '60s and into the, or, into the '70s. There was some weird stuff going on right around that time.
Yes. Yes, there definitely was. I think a lot of the movies, though, in that time frame, they're all in the same vein where it's poorly acted and whatever. A lot more colorization in the films.
Right. Like
they're over-colored, which I thought was strange.
Yeah.
Every time I watched one. Or the other thing is that they all, because of the time it was in, all the women have the black eyeliner and huge lashes.
Right.
And just made up all like Sharon Tate.
Yeah.
No matter what the scene could possibly be, you know.
Yeah.
It's kind of a funny situation.
Right.
But yeah, there wasn't anybody a big charmer in that or anything.
No, definitely not.
It was, like I said, it was
Yeah.
You know.
Another eh.
It's something that we kind of found that, you know, with Satanism being blamed for a lot of things, it would be an easy topic to make a movie out of.
Right.
But it's almost as bad as serial killer movies, where once again you're handed the story. You could do anything you want with this, and you end up making a bad movie.
Right, exactly.
Before I Drink Your Blood came out, there was the almighty and powerful Rosemary's Baby.
Right.
Which is in my top 5 of horror movies. This was one of the HBO again.
Yeah.
HBO just let me have some fun.
Thanks,
there.
HBO.
Yeah, it was great. I happened to stumble across this one day when I was homesick, and this was at least 20 years ago at this point.
Right.
You know? But I didn't know what to think of it at first, and then you get to like the dream sequence, and then you're just like, oh.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, we're going there. I didn't know who Roman Polanski was at the time.
Sure.
Except for the fact that he was amongst the whole thing with the Charles Manson, murders, all that stuff. But other than that, I didn't know who he was. I didn't know what kind of a big deal he would be, you know. I didn't know who Sharon Tate was
either,
but all of that got brought into this.
Right.
So it's the movie is just, it's really good because it starts off so pure and happy and whatever. And then you have the most annoying neighbors on earth. Oh my gosh. They're just obnoxious.
Right.
But damn it, if that apartment isn't amazing.
Oh, yeah.
Oh my gosh. I never thought I would think that high gloss black paint would be amazing. But let me tell you, it is so good in that. And it just, I don't know, it was just so good.
Yeah, that's a great movie. Certainly the way it just keeps getting more paranoid and more claustrophobic for her, Mia Farrow.
Yeah.
It's just, the way that is done to me is just masterful. That is just some of the best storytelling in a movie ever, I think.
It just, it brings on the dread.
Yeah, exactly.
Slowly but surely she starts to realize things. But her illness that she feels through the pregnancy and how it's downplayed, just like the little woman that would be downplayed back then.
Yeah, exactly.
And you feel for her. And then she's so hot during the summer, pregnant. Yeah. And I think of my poor mom being pregnant with me in July, mowing the lawn. It definitely causes major dread.
Oh yeah.
And you're so worried and so sad by what she's going through, and that nobody will listen to her, and you're starting to discover everybody's against her.
Right.
Now, a lot of people know this that know horror movies, but the building in which they filmed that in was also where John Lennon was shot in front of. So they do talk about it. That Cursed film series that's on Shudder. They do a whole episode on Rosemary's Baby, and they discuss that and other things, but whatever. But I think that that's interesting.
It is.
I also think that the lullaby that is sung by Mia Farrow at the opening and throughout is creepy. Yeah. I have it as a ringtone. I think it's a good one.
That is a good one.
Yeah. So I personally really love this movie.
Oh yeah, it's fantastic.
I will watch it over and over again. I don't even know how many times I've seen it at this point. You don't see any of the satanic stuff until the end of that movie. Yeah. And then you go, oh, well, now I get it. And you expect everybody to break out into some Fosse choreography at the end, But it's just so good. It's just so
excellent so movie.
Yes. The last one.
Yes.
House of the Devil.
Oh, another fantastic movie.
Oh, so good. So good. This was done in 2009. The director was Ty West, who, as we know, did Pearl and X, and is going to be doing Maxine as well, or I'm assuming they're working on it right now. Yeah. So he definitely evolved. They did such a good job with making you feel like you were in the 80s. Yeah. And, even with the filters that they used for filming, the clothing, everything. Yeah. Everything, and it really felt like you were in that time.
Yes, fantastic movie.
But what happens, Josh?
All I'm gonna say is that a babysitting job goes horribly awry, and it's got Tom Noonan in it, so it's got that going for it.
Yeah.
Tom Noonan, Cult Eternal, baby. Whoop whoop.
Yeah, it does go horribly awry, doesn't it?
Yes.
And everybody's always ordering pizza in babysitter movies. What is that about? You have Satanic Panic, pizza. Yeah. But it borrows from that whole 80s thing.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
And what's funny is that in the beginning of House of the Devil, her and her friend, who is Greta Gerwig.
Oh, that's right.
The one that directed Barbie, which is weird.
Crazy.
Yeah. It's a weird one. But they're sitting there eating pizza and they're not very pleased with it.
Right.
And then ultimately they end up she ends up ordering pizza again. Yeah. And I never paid that much attention. I'm assuming it's the same place.
Right.
Yeah. So I thought that was funny. I'm like, go pizza. And it makes me just want to eat pizza every time.
Yeah. And that movie, what I really like about it is it's just such a slow burn.
Mm-hmm.
It's another one where you're just waiting, on the edge of your seat. How is this, if you, the first time you watch it, how's this gonna twist? What's gonna happen here? You're just waiting and waiting and waiting for something to happen, and then when what hits the fan, it's just such an excellent payoff, I think.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, yeah, because I'm like, all right, so you're gonna dance around with your Walkman on.
Exactly.
And then I'm sitting there going, oh, I remember I had a Walkman,
Yeah.
And just all these other things, but gosh, that house is gorgeous.
Yeah, fantastic.
Once again, I think I have to say that aside from I Drink Your Blood, because that was just all weird, old-timey, but a lot of these have these elaborate houses.
Right.
So, and that house is no exception.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
It's just another great movie.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
About
Absolutely.
Satanism.
Yeah. One movie I want to talk about real quick, and I know it's one you're not super familiar with, but I just want to bring it up very quickly, is John Carpenter's Prince of Darkness. My hero, my idol, John Carpenter. What's interesting about this movie is it's such a different take on the idea of Satan, in the sense that Satan is sort of this he's trapped in this cylinder, and he's kind of just this green liquid that possesses people, and you're just like, and then of course you got in it Alice Cooper as a homicidal homeless person that's kind of entranced by what's happening.
Yeah, I remember that.
And people are these scientists go to study this cylinder that Satan's trapped in the basement of a church. And it's just a really bizarre take on the whole Satan thing. And what drugs was John Carpenter on at the time, and where can I get some?
Yes.
You know what I mean?
It was so
what a bizarre idea.
Yeah.
I think that was very interesting to approach it from a point of science rather than a supernatural.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I feel like he's probably atheist or something along those lines to have something like that. Well, and when we watched Satanic Panic last night, we watched it on Tubi, which is not my favorite way to watch movies or anything, because the commercials are relentless. Right. But it's free.
Yeah, exactly.
And I didn't want to pay for Satanic Panic again. No. But Tubi will just keep the party going, as we refer to it, and it will just continue to play movies that are like it. Mm-hmm. And what was the movie that came on after that?
It's called We Summon the Darkness.
And that was kind of weird.
Yeah.
It was still in the satanic vein, or so we thought.
Right. Mm-hmm.
It was blaming. It went in the Satanic Panic thing.
Right.
They were blaming Satanists for this, and ultimately it was I think it was a minister or something like that.
Yeah, a minister and his daughter had kind of established this sort of Jesus-y cult, in a sense, I guess.
It was the daughters of something.
Spoiler alert.
Yeah. Also, though, the minister was Johnny Knoxville.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
We're like, okay. I mean, it worked.
Yeah. The main crazy gal was in True Detective.
Oh, well, there you go.
Yeah.
I don't remember that. But, it was surprising. And also, it was interesting at the beginning because they went to a metal concert.
Yes.
And we hear them play it wasn't King Diamond, it was Merciful Fate. And I'm like, what?
Yeah.
I didn't know he was in anything.
Right.
Well, it's just the music.
Yeah.
It was just some tools on stage.
Yeah, it's just some generic people dressed up to look like a metal band, and then they magically sound just like Merciful Fate.
Yeah.
How weird.
But they don't really keep it on them for very long because it's not convincing.
Because real metal fans know.
Yes, everybody knows what King Diamond looks like. Yeah. Well, and they definitely stopped by a Hot Topic or something to pick up shirts for everybody that was varying in metal.
Yeah.
There was Motorhead.
Right.
And
Anthrax.
At least twice.
Awesome Anthrax.
Which Anthrax sucks.
It's not entirely true, but that's a story for another episode.
Yes. But the one that made me laugh was the Rush shirt.
Yeah.
And to be honest with you, we'll have to put it up at some point. Josh and I made a metal bingo one time.
Yes.
And it's basically everything that you would see at the show, and you would be able to check off those things. I think the guy with the Rush shirt or Dream Theater needs to be added.
That's a good one.
It has to be some sort of progressive
There's always
metal.
the prog nerd there.
Yes, always one. Always one. So we might have to change at least one square for that.
Yeah.
But,
That's a good one.
and so, I mean, I guess it wasn't too far-fetched to throw the one Rush guy out there.
Right.
But I'm pretty sure it was also filmed in, like, a hockey arena.
Right.
Or something.
And this is one of those, you compare, when you compare it to, like, the Devil's Candy, where metal is treated with, again, another kind of quasi-satanic movie, where metal is treated with such respect and authenticity, and then you've got this one where they just kind of stuck some guys off the street on stage and played King Diamond. It's like, well, at least they got some King Diamond music in there, but I mean, other than that, it was still like the most generic take on metal that you could possibly imagine,
Well, I don't know if you saw it earlier this week, but one of the gentlemen from Ghoul, he pointed out the AI-generated metal posters that were in True Detective's episode.
Oh, no.
And so when we saw it, I didn't say anything to you, but when we saw it, it's, and it's like they just didn't want to pay for those rights.
Right.
And it's like, Ghost was whoring themselves out to movies left and right, like in Lights Out.
Yeah,
so
exactly.
It's kind of, I think they were even in Devil's Candy. I think there was a poster on the wall for that,
I
too.
think there might have been. And, the thing is, if they would just, if these movies that don't have big budgets to begin with would just go to, smaller bands and ask for stuff.
Yes.
Those smaller bands and labels would probably be more than happy to give them, here's some posters to put on the wall in this scene. Here's some t-shirts for actors to wear, like when I interned with Metal Blade, interestingly enough, that we did that. We packed up some stuff to send us, and to this day, I have no idea what movie it was for, but somebody had called them or emailed them asking, hey, can we get some stuff to put in this movie? And they were more than happy to have that free advertising.
That's exactly it.
It's
really good free advertising. Well, remember I was watching, I think it was like a Lifetime movie, which I don't watch normally, but it just happened to be on. It was bad. But anyway, there was a guy wearing like an impaled shirt, and I thought that was pretty funny, or something like that. So it's, I think, as far as wrapping all this together here, metal that's satanic and horror movies that are supposedly satanic, it all falls under the Satanic Panic thing, and that's why the guys from West Memphis 3 had so many issues, because they listened to Metallica, the most vanilla of bands, and I'm like, okay. But it Satanic Panic is a problem.
Right. It's so funny, these people that freak out over something like Metallica or whatever, it's like, oh, well, wait till I show you Deicide. You know
yes.
what I mean?
Yes. Well, here's a fun story for you, speaking of satanic stuff. So when I worked at a record label, which I will not mention which one, but I did intern also at a record label that mostly distributed black metal and that kind of thing. I had to send off a fax to somebody, to somebody who owed money to the record label for materials, whatever products they had received, CDs and stuff. So it had everything listed out, and I sent it off, and I received a response back where they had written on it, "You need Jesus," or something like that, and I didn't pay attention to what the titles were at first when I first sent it, because I'm like, well, they're gonna know, but when you get it back and you're like, oh, well, I kind of see, and I wish I could remember what, who it, I have no idea what was on it at this point, but boy, did it make me laugh. So, give your local Satanists a try. They're probably pretty
They're
nice.
Probably nice people, because here's the thing, these movies and stuff, and even some like metal makes it out to be, oh, we're sacrificing virgins and this and that. It's like, no, that's not what Satanists in real life do.
No.
It's just this overly dramatized thing that sprang from
Well, Anton LaVey's stuff that came out, that really made it. pretty bad.
And the funny thing about LaVey, really, to me, is, you know, he was just a mischief maker, really.
Yes.
And in my opinion, he was a disruptor, basically, and he did a great job of it, in my opinion.
Well, he grew up in carnivals.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, exactly. What's that? What's that tell you right there?
He probably smelled like cabbage.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
More than likely.
Yeah. I admire LaVey, but not for the reasons that most people do.
Yeah.
I admire him for being a shit disturber, basically.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, and that's really what it comes down to, is that people don't understand the whole side of it. And we are not saying that we are Satanists
Not by any means.
I am a full-blown atheist.
Yeah.
I do not believe in any of this stuff.
Right.
But I also, just like any religion, I give it a shot and understand what it is. And all Satanism really is, true Satanists, I should say, they just believe in themselves.
Yes, exactly.
And they just follow basic guidelines.
Yeah.
And one of those, it's like their commandments in a sense. One of those is don't harm children.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Or virgins.
Yeah, and it's interesting because, you know, I was raised Catholic. I went to Catholic school, and I never believed in any of it, even when I was a kid. And when I got a little older, I went to a bookstore and bought the Satanic Bible, because I was like, well, what's the other side have to offer? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And while I identified with a lot of what LaVey was talking about, you know, as far as basically there's no God higher than yourself, and you know, love for those that deserve it, you know, and things of that nature. I went on their website and it was like, oh, pay $100 to become a member. It's like, well, you know what? While I agree with a lot of this stuff, the Church of Satan is just another church that wants your money, just like every other church out there. You know what I mean? Exactly.
Moral of the story is just be a good person.
Exactly.
You don't need anybody to tell you that.
Exactly. You know, and really that's kind of what Satanism says, or at least LaVeyan Satanism, I should say, is do whatever you want as long as you're not hurting anyone else. Yeah. Is essentially what it boils down to in a nutshell, and that's
I'm in a nutshell.
And that's kind of what I believe. You know, that's how I live my life.
Yeah, exactly. You know? So don't believe all the hype.
Exactly.
Give these movies a shot if you haven't already.
Yeah.
We'd love to know of any other satanic movies.
Well, yeah, and there's a wealth of movies out there that we still haven't explored, like The Devil Rides Out, and you know, stuff like that, or The Devil's Reign, you know, things like that, movies that we haven't even seen yet that we need to explore. So if you guys have any recommendations for ones we should check out, by all means, please drop it in the comments for us, because there's still a world of stuff out there.
Yes, and we're all for corny or whatever it is. Yeah, we're fine with we don't care how cheesy it is.
Exactly.
The cheesier the better, the bloodier the better.
We'll get altered and give it a chance.
Anyway, so as we always say, you know, tell your friends about us.
Yes.
Please subscribe to the channel. It helps us. We get to see what people like and don't like, even if you don't comment.
Yes.
So if you subscribe, it's free.
Yeah.
It's free.
It's free support for us. And, you know, like, we're nerds and we look at all the analytics and stuff, and we want to make this channel better. So, you know, let us, you know, with the analytics, you're letting us know what you like and don't like. Whether you intend to or not, so you might as well just let us know. Yeah, just let us know. It's not going to harm anything. So I think until next week. Yes. Thanks, guys, so much for watching. Bye. Hail Satan!